Hey there, doing another 3-minute book review, and this one is The Gospel Goes to Work by Stephen R. Graves. And the best idea out of this one is the fact that he draws these two terms, the baseline and the blue sky, and how we as individuals engage our work. There's always a baseline, a bare minimum of what our faith will require of us in the workplace. Not only does he apply this to individuals, but he also applies this to corporations. And my best way to kind of get at this idea is probably the baseline is something akin to the Great Commandment. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. If something that you are doing at work violates the great commandment, that you are unable to love God in a certain way because of what you're doing at work, or you are unable to love your neighbor in a certain way because of what you're doing at work, that would be something against the baseline. So there's a bare minimum of how our faith interacts with our work. But then there's this great big old blue sky. There's infinite possibilities that as individuals, when we engage work, we can creatively do just any possible imaginative good out there. How do we use our skills, our talents, our creativity, either as individuals in a workplace doing our jobs? How can our jobs be done well for the glory of God, in using everything we have to do it for God's glory? Or even, how do we design a company in such a way that we can do work and that company can do work that is for God's glory? And he calls that a blue sky. So the blue sky uses creativity, uses imagination to do the best we can possibly do for God in our workplace. And those are two very, very interesting parameters for how faith engages the workplace. There's a bare minimum. There's things we have to do just to be good, faithful people in the workplace. Things we can't do, things we must do. But then there's ultimately, in work, we are created with creativity and imagination to possibly do so much more than anything else. So those are the basic, kind of the big rock ideas. This is a good book. I think this is a should read book, especially if you're in the workplace and have a good deal of freedom over what you get to do. Highly recommend it. The Gospel Goes to Work by Dr. Graves.